novel, I think, is in a lot of parts about escaping your life, escaping yourself, escaping your family and your community and where you come from. I love the idea of a dramatic escape in a novel. I think that a lot of stories that I like involve that in some way. And I really wanted to write about these characters that are dramatically departing from their past lives and entering into a new world. What do you gain when you enter into that new world? And what is it that you leave behind? What are you actually running from? And what are the ways in which what you are escaping sometimes finds ways to find you once you have actually departed? Identity. I think identity to me was the really huge question at the center of this novel, which was, what is it that makes me who I am? What makes me me? What makes you you? And to what degree are those things that I choose for myself, and to what degree are those things that are chosen for me or assigned to me? That was one of the biggest questions that I was really interested in writing towards in this book, of thinking about the fact that identity is complicated and that it's often more complicated than language. And if that's the case, then how do I as a writer go about writing about identity? Family. It's a story about a fractured family. It's a story about this family that splits when these twin sisters decide to live their lives in two very different directions and on opposite sides of the color line. It's also a kind of national story. It's a story about race in America and all of the absurdities and the complexities that are involved in that. And I wanted to think about telling that story of a nation through the idea of this one family that is splintered and is splintered irreparably. Once the family breaks into different directions, there's not really a way for that family to ever come back together whole again. And I found that idea very interesting, of thinking about this really fractured family that split along racial lines, and the way that the country that I come from has also splintered along racial lines. Change. To me, this is also a book that's about change. It's about transformation. It's about all of these different characters that are faced with moments where they are able to choose whether to transform themselves into something new or something different, or remain who they are. And characters who find themselves within that crossroad and make different choices. I love the idea of this theme of change and what we gain when we change, and what we also lose and what we leave behind. I think that transformation can be so liberating, but it can also be very painful. And you see characters within this book straddling that line between change that liberates them and also change that causes them pain. Past. This is a book that is set in the past. It opens in 1968, a very tumultuous year in American history. And it reckons with this racial history of Jim Crow laws and segregation, and that very fraught, those very fraught years within American culture. But it's also a book, I think, about how we reckon with our personal past, what it means to move on from a past life into a new world, but still feel that past chasing you, still feel haunted by history, in a way that I think the nation is haunted by history. So I was really interested in those questions of the past. Can we ever actually leave the past behind? Does it find a way of following us even if we try to escape it?